Professor K. Ashok.
This meeting is being recorded.
Now, I request our chairperson, our President, Professor B.G. Reddy, to give his welcome address.
The Chief Patrons, Professor P.V. Ramamurthy, Professor Girishwar Misraji, the chairperson of this total training program, Professor Vedagiri Ganeshan, sir, then Oren Singh, another patron, then the General Secretary, Professor Shubhashini, Treasurer of this WCOP, and also today's resource person, Professor Suresh sir, and today's guest of honor, Professor Selvam Robertson. Then today's chairperson, Professor Gayatri Devi Madam. Then Anupama, who is our beloved student, and other core committee members, then executive committee members, and beloved participants. I once again welcome you all to this 19th session, and I'm really happy that by 24 sessions, we will be just going to achieve the 3 months of training program on school counseling. I'm really happy, and thanks to the participants who are cooperating. And the other day also I appealed to the participants, kindly just attend the program sharply by 7 p.m. so that there may not be any delay from our organizing schedules. I hope, and they may not repeat in late coming, and I wish you all luck. Now again, I request Cindy Simon to go ahead.
Thank you very much, sir. We have with us our chairperson of today's session, Professor S. Gayatri Devi. I request Madam to kindly share your thoughts for a few minutes with all the participants. To speak about Professor Gayatri Devi, she has completed PhD from Madras University with over 30 years of teaching experience as lecturer in Mother Teresa Women's University, in Navjyoti Trust for Mental Retardation. She is now working in Avinash Lingam Institute for Home Science and Higher Education for Women, Coimbatore. She has published over 65 papers in various journals and conducted 28 workshops and orientation courses. She has delivered more than 75 lectures in various conferences and academic staff colleges. She is the BOS member of PSG College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore, and Saraswati Tyagaraja College, Pollachi. Madam, we are very, very lucky to have you with us today. I request you now to speak a few words with the participants.
Thank you. First, I would like to thank Professor P.V. Ramamurthy sir. Is the chief patron of this World Congress of Psychologists, Professor Girishwar Misra, Professor V. Ganesan sir, Professor R.N. Singh, and Professor B.G. Reddy has invited me, and Professor R. Subhashini ma'am, and today resource person Professor V. Suresh. I am very delighted to see him because I know him from my college days, and Sarah has invited me, and he was the first person to recognize the PhD scholars to come and take classes for, and I know him from that my college days onwards. Very strict person to the students, but very kind enough to all the research scholars and the friends, and is really, I want the students or participants to get acquired knowledge from him. He has got wide knowledge on this area. So today you are all blessed to have him as a resource person. Any topic, if you ask him, he will be able to share his views, and such a kind person. and he's there. So I wanted all of you to utilize your his resources as early as possible, because he's such a knowledgeable person. Any topic if you ask, he'll be there to help you. And Dr. Selvam Robertson and Mrs. Anupama and Professor Ashok and Dr. Chinni Simon, wherever if you see, she will be there to introduce about everybody. And I'm very happy that she has just called me. So this is the input I want to give you, because Professor Suresh is such a very knowledgeable person. Try to utilize his resources to the maximum by asking many questions. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. You are very kind enough to recognize all the members of WCOP. We are very happy with you. Now we have as a guest of honor, Dr. Selvam Robertson. I request him now to address the gathering. To speak about Dr. Selvam, he is the principal of Bethel Bible College Guntur, with over 15 years of experience as an administrator. He is very dynamic and talented. He is also running diploma courses in counseling in his college. Thank you, sir, for attending as our guest of honor today. I request you now to share your thoughts with us.
Thank you very much for the kind words, madam. At the outset, I'm grateful to Professor B.G. Reddy for inviting me in the midst of eminent psychology professors. I was so thrilled when he told me that they have been running the course, 3-month training program on school counseling. This is something very important for our times. We are going through tough time because our children have been going through this online education, and they are affected in their learning process to some extent. And in order to bring them to the mainstream, and in order to help them and support them, this kind of program, particularly training program on school counseling, is very, very important. And it is also very interesting to see the motto, train yourself and train others. The motto is very charitable and it is very rich in content. And I hope and pray that this meeting will be a great opportunity for many of us to learn useful lessons in psychology and impart the same to the children whom we come across. I wish and pray that in the days to come, the World Congress of Psychologists will be able to come up with many more such creative and useful programs to strengthen school education and also to strengthen our society at large. I wish them all the success. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your good wishes and blessings to us. Definitely, let your wish come true. Now we have with us a very learned person, Professor V. Suresh. He is ready to enlighten us with mental health disorder. To speak about Professor V. Suresh, he is not new person. He is a well-known professor to all of us, because he is also the treasurer of WCOP and has attended many sessions with us. He is working as the professor in psychology in Annamalai University, where from which university has completed his PG and PhD as well. He has more than 30 years of teaching and research experience, and he has won Psychometric Educational Award and Distinguished Teacher Award from Annamalai University, Tamil Nadu. He is very much interested to work in the fields of counseling, social psychology, and yoga therapy. Learned person you are, sir. I request you now to take over the session and continue with the session by sharing with us your valuable thoughts regarding mental health disorders.
Thank you, ma'am. And good evening to all of you. I'm happy to join the session today. And for quite a long time, ever since I started as my career as a teacher in psychology, I've been of the opinion that the school and the parents should work together in promoting mental health among children. But unfortunately, parents did not realize that. And as a result, many parents in a materialistic culture, they dump their responsibility on the teachers. And as a result, teachers are unable to do justice to their role as a teacher. And this in turn results in many mental health issues among youngsters. I would say many youngsters today are deprived cognitively, emotionally, as well as socially. And to a large extent, I would blame only the parents for that. And this pandemic has speed up, I would say, though there are many aspects, I would mention about two here. One is the need for online teaching, because our teachers were not prepared for it, including teachers in the higher education sector. Teachers were not skilled in that. This has speeded up the process. The second one is the importance of considering mental health issues in educational settings, because the issues have been there, but that was not realized for quite a long time. Whereas this COVID pandemic has brought in the importance, because there are more psychological issues rather than physical issues. So people have started realizing the importance of considering mental health issues in a school setting. And as we know, because you have been listening to many of the discussions in the past, so many sessions, mental health refers to the presence of positive characteristics. As a result, whatever we do, either in an educational setting or outside, should bring in or develop more and more positive characteristics in us. And when you talk about positive characteristics, few important ones I would like to mention here: realizing one's abilities. Every one of us is born with many potentials, and the development of these potentials depend on the opportunities to apply them. Only then they can be developed. Like all of us have the ability to communicate, but unless opportunities are provided, well, the ability will not develop. As a result, we need to develop as many abilities as possible during the course of our life. So in that sense, school as well as college should provide wide opportunities to develop as many abilities as possible. Whereas today, whether the present educational system does that, well, we have our own apprehensions. That could be one of the reasons why mental health issues are on the increase. Because we teach, but whether we develop the abilities, we don't provide enough of practice, we don't provide enough of training. We provide only the theoretical input. As a result, there is knowledge, but there is lack of skill. And so many youngsters fail to develop the potentials to the required extent. So when they have to face real life situations, stress becomes a common factor in life. The second one is coping with the normal stresses of life. Stress is quite normal in our day-to-day life situations. Like when we perceive that there is a demand outside for some resource within us, when we see that there is a wide gap between the two, we experience stress. And as a result, stress is a normal part of life. When you experience stress, when you feel that your ability is inadequate, then one should try to develop those abilities, which in turn will help us overcome the normal stresses of life. Again, stress is a part and parcel of our life today because the demand outside and what we have inside, the gap is widening day by day. And as a result, irrespective of age, irrespective of gender, irrespective of occupation, stress has become a part of our life, and as a result, which in turn affects the mental health of individuals. The next one is working productively. When you say working productively, whatever you do, you must do it with increased efficiency. If I start my life as a student, well, I must become a better student year, month by month, year after year. And by the time I complete my student days, I am ready for taking up the next role, maybe a teacher, maybe a manager, maybe a doctor, etc. So that way, we need to work productively. Whether the present education system provides that, well, I have my own doubts. And the ability to make a contribution to one's community. But today, the criterion to evaluate somebody, an individual, is based on the material wealth the individual is able to accumulate rather than his or her contribution to the society. So as a result, there are distortions in our perception. There are inadequacies in the way things are being done in schools as well as colleges. As a result, mental health issues have become quite common. Right now, why do mental health issues become common? The reason is that changes are common in our lives. Changes may be within oneself, changes may be outside, or changes may be on both sides, that is within oneself as well as outside. When a change occurs, then there occurs a gap between the person and the outside environment. The gap has to be minimized. You cannot say that there should be no gap at all. Gap should be there, but the gap should be minimum so that I am able to fill in the gap, and filling in this gap in turn leads to another higher level gap, and as a result, the individual is able to grow. Like initially, the child is at home, he has not started going to school. So the child would have played anytime he liked, he would have eaten anytime he liked, he would have slept anytime he liked, he would have played anytime he liked, etc. But when he starts going to school, there is a change in his role. So there is a change in him. There is a change in the outside environment, the classroom. So he cannot do all those activities now. So when the class is going on, he has to sit, he has to listen to the teacher, he must learn the subject matter. He cannot sleep, he cannot play now. As a result, he finds it difficult to cope up with the situation. There can be stress. And as a result, the child initially says, I do not want to go to school. But in due course, he is able to adjust to the situation. He starts enjoying going to school. And as he grows, he has to learn more and more subjects, and the subjects may be difficult. He comes across new teachers, etc., new styles of teaching. He has to cope up with all those things. So that way, one has to make adjustments. So adjustment is a part of our life. And when there are difficulties in adjustment, that is when mental health issues can occur. So when you say adjustment, it is a process which builds in variations in behavior. Your existing behavior is inadequate to cope up with the situation. As a result, you have to build variations in behavior, modify. So when you say variations in behavior, it can be your thinking, it can be your feeling, it can be your actions, it can be all of them put together. So variations are to be brought in there. Like as long as I'm a student, I'm able to sit and I look at the teacher, still I'm able to sleep. But when I become a teacher, I cannot sleep in my classroom. So as a result, my role is different now. I have to bring in variations in my behavior. And the same way, when I'm a student, I feel that, well, the teacher has to be liberal in awarding marks. But when I become a teacher, I don't do that. Why is that? I see the consequences of me awarding marks to the life of the students, to the society, etc. As a result, I bring in variation in my thinking, in my approach, etc. So as a result, variations in behavior ought to be brought in. But again, though there are many, one major aspect I would say here is the development of technology. Because in the olden days, a person had to adjust to the environment. Whereas today, we change the environment to suit our convenience. As a result, the environment changes, but you need not change, you remain the same. Like you need not learn the spelling for a word. It is there in the computer, and when you type it in a wrong way, the red line, underline shows it, you press a button, automatically it gets corrected there. So you need not learn the spelling at all. But learning the spelling is the right way of dealing with the situation rather than substituting the technology for our efforts. That should not be the case. That is where we misuse technology, which in turn leads to more and more psychological problems. So technology and human change, there should be a balance between the two, and how to effectively use technology. We are yet to come out with such a suggestion at all. So unfortunately, human beings have been guided wrongly. So effective use of technology should be one of the important aspects which should start in school itself. So variations in behavior to achieve harmony within oneself. So when I say harmony, my thinking, my feeling, and my behavior to a large extent should go together. When I become a teacher, now I want my students to appreciate me. I want my students to say that you are a good teacher. So which means there is a need for me. I think that I should be a good teacher. I feel that I should be a good teacher. And ultimately what happens when I want that, unless I'm effective in my teaching, it cannot happen. So there should be harmony. But sometimes what happens, I'm poor in my teaching, but I expect the students to appreciate, and I blindly believe that I'm a good teacher. I'm far away from reality. There is no harmony within myself. So to a large extent, that should go together. So only then I would be a well-adjusted person. So one is harmony within oneself. The second one, harmony with others, the environment, my interpersonal skills, my relating with people, my understanding the problems of people, etc. So there should be harmony with others, as well as the environment, with an aim to maintain a state of equilibrium. Equilibrium between what? Between my needs and my responsibilities. My needs are to be fulfilled. At the same time, I should fulfill my responsibility so that the society can become a better place in future. So that is what is called as adjustment. And when there are all of us, most of us are able to make adjustments effectively, there are some people who have difficulty in making adjustments, that it is those people who experience difficulties in their real life situations. So that way, as a child is growing in school, in a school, it is designed for a specific purpose. The child has to learn, the child's personality has to change, his abilities are to be developed, etc. So whatever we do in school, which should contribute to the development of more and more positive characteristics. And ask yourself whether it happens in the present day school. Where are we at fault? We need to correct them. So if you see some of the common signs of mental health issues in schools, one is changes in mood. When I say changes in mood, well, commonly change happens once in a while gradually. But when the changes are very frequent, feelings of sadness, withdrawal, or mood swings, etc., when they are very frequent and fluctuating, well, there is some problem here which affects the other aspects of life of the individual. And intense emotions, overwhelming fear and anger outbursts and extreme anxiety, etc., can interfere with one's mental health. And if you see today, like we say that going to school itself is stressful, and we say examination is stressful, our distortions are, our perceptions are distorted here. Examination should not be stressful. Examination should be something that the student as well as the teacher is looking forward to, because I should be anxious to know how much have I learned? And what is it that I have not learned? And what should I do to learn that? That type of an attitude should be there, but that is not there because we attach undue importance to the grades rather than the knowledge. And as a result, examination or accumulating experiences to children, and so extreme anxiety or stress has become common, which interferes with the mental health of children. The same way, changes in behavior, out of control behavior, frequent fighting, etc. Why is that? I am able to make adjustments, and as a result, it causes stress, it causes frustration, which leads to out of control behavior and other things in school, and difficulty concentrating. The child is unable to concentrate on what the teacher, because there are so many distractions, there are so many worries, etc. As a result, the student has difficulty in concentrating. The student is overloaded, and symptoms like headaches, stomach ache, etc., self-injury or self-harm like attempting suicide, and substance abuse and mobile addiction, etc. So such types of indications or issues are quite common among school children. And some of the hidden signs of mental health issues are making excuses for not going to school, like faking being sick, etc. Because some parents, when the child says, I'm not feeling well, immediately they say, well, you need not go to school. As a result, this is an indication. These are hidden signs. Teachers as well as parents should be sensitive to the hidden signs because they are the beginning signs of mental health issues. The same way, skipping school or cutting classes without the knowledge of the parents, losing interest in school and in extracurricular activities. In the present day educational system, we see in many places there is no extracurricular activities at all. And people feel that it is only to while away the time. No, we need to understand that extracurricular activities also contribute to a healthy development of a child. And as a student of psychology, I would say that extracurricular activities should be given equal weightage like that of curricular aspects. So as a result, when children do not show interest in extracurricular activities, there is something wrong with them. Then developing low self-esteem, because when the child is compared with others and he is being criticized, and that is a humiliating experience for the child because each child is unique. Many times we see that the teachers or parents say that, well, your brother is studying well, you are not studying well, your brother is good in that, you are not good in that. Well, my brother may be good in something, but I may be better than my brother in something else, but that is never mentioned about. As a result, that can affect the self-esteem of the child. Then frequently being disciplined at school, because when frequently when he is controlled or when his behavior is criticized, it indicates that you are troublesome. Especially this has become an issue in the post-pandemic situation. As a result, that causes disturbance to the child. And refusing to do homework or getting poor grades in school, these are all hidden signs of mental health issues about which the school as well as the parents should be sensitive to. Then coming to the post-pandemic issues, because we are more concerned about it now, especially teachers are very much worried, the school is very much worried. Difficulty sitting in class for longer hours, because for the past 2 years, children have been running around or doing whatever they wanted to. So when they have to sit in the class, sit still for a longer duration, children are easily distracted, and as a result, they find it difficult to sit in the classes. And so teachers find it difficult to make the child sit, because when many children are like that, they are unable to control, so they do not know how to handle that. There can be an issue here. Then difficulty concentrating in the class, because parents generally say that my child has kept the mobile on and he is doing something else. When the teacher is asking a question, but my child keeps answering at the same time playing here. The parent should cooperate with the school in dealing with the situation. So as a result, they are unable to sit and concentrate for half an hour or 45 minutes in the classroom as they used to earlier. And because of this, their creativity is reduced, because they are easily distracted. So their creativity also is reduced. Then addiction to gadgets has increased. Already many children were addicted, whereas now, since they had to be with a mobile phone, it actually has increased. And as a result, the family bonding has further weakened in such type of condition. And many students prefer to go home and continue online listening, not because the learning is better, but because it is convenient for them for some other thing. And as a result, it has to be dealt with. Sports activities are almost nil, and students became obese because eating all sorts of junk food, there is no physical activity, etc. As a result, there should be more. And nowadays, I hear that many parents prefer to put their children in gym also, not because of the exercise there, but children will be able to move around, run around, do some more of physical activity there. As a result, sports activities are almost nil. And during pandemic period, they learned comfortably, and now that lead to discipline problems in classrooms. And as a result, the government has also suggested to the schools not to control children too much. When children know that, and naturally they become even more liberal, and which in turn can have impact on the quality of learning. When the quality of learning is less, naturally, when they go to the outside world to face reality, it can only lead to more and more psychological issues. And if we see the major psychological issues in the schools, if we can see, well, I would say that, well, anxiety, stress, depression, as well as suicidal ideation, or some of the mobile addiction, drug addiction, etc., are some of the common concerns nowadays in the present day schools with which we have to deal with. And tackling mental health issues in schools, understand mental health needs within the school. The teachers, the administration should understand the mental health needs of these children. Because I mentioned in my earlier lecture also, there was an article comparing government school children and private school children. This happened long back. And they found that the mental health of government school children was better than the private school children. Why is that? Private schools don't treat children as human beings. They treat children as machines getting grades. So their finer feelings are not taken into account, which has a serious impact on the mental health of children throughout their life later on. As a result, understand the mental health issues, try to provide the required needs, also like the emotional needs, the social needs of children. Consider having some mental health training to all the people in the school. whether one is a teaching staff, whether one is a non-teaching staff, etc. Well, some sort of a training so that everyone will be sensitive to the issues among children. Then educate parents and students on signs and symptoms of mental health issues. I feel that PTA can work wonders with regard to the promotion of mental health. The parents and the teachers should work together very frequently, understand the common mental health issues among the children, and understand the role of the parents, understand the role of the teachers, understand the role of the school, etc., and work together in a complementary way so that the mental health of the future generation can be taken care of. Have a place students can go to talk and a strong open door policy. They must be able to express themselves. Because once I was invited to a school with regard to understanding this children's issues. The school was a middle school. So I was wondering, if I talk to these children, what can they talk about their problems? But to my surprise, they came out with a long list of complaints about the father, the mother, the school, etc. And I could understand in a better way their real psychological needs. So that way, listen to them. Never, parents should never say that I'm doing it only for your good, so what I do is right. Listen to the child, listen to the feelings behind what the child is saying. The same thing with regard to the school also. So let them express their feelings and try to see the validity of them and see how best we can help these children to overcome them. Create a safe, positive school environment. What is a positive school environment? I am coming to that next. And encourage good physical health. There should be healthy food habits. There should be opportunities for play and other activities, etc. So provide opportunities for them. These are some of the suggestions that we can consider. Now, when I say a positive approach, what could be the concrete suggestions that we can take? Number one, help students develop specific skills, which means identify the skills of students, where they are good at and where they are poor. Wherever they are poor, set a priority, help them to develop those skills. When the child learns that I am improving in this particular angle, that will motivate him, that will strengthen his self-esteem, that will strengthen his creativity, that will strengthen his initiative. And as a result, he will become a better person. So develop specific skills rather than general knowledge and giving grades in the school. Help them to identify and provide opportunities to develop specific skills where they are weak. That will strengthen the personality of the individual. When there are talents and abilities, point it out to the children. Because we are good in pointing out the negative, not the positive. But every child has a positive side. Identify the positive side, point out that he is good in this and he can develop in this, he can further strengthen this, etc. And that will build confidence in the youngsters, that can promote mental health, and he will be able to use those abilities to help others also, and he will be able to see that he is able to make a contribution to the betterment of others, which in turn will lead to a contribution to the betterment of the community. Then, when the child is making an attempt in a positive direction, use praise appropriately. Because many times, we the elders are afraid that if I praise, he will become headstrong and his efforts will go down. No. If there is an appropriate praise, you recognize the proper effort. If you praise appropriately, that will only strengthen the motive and that will enhance the performance of the child. So use praise appropriately. Don't be too critical. Criticism can only affect the self-esteem of the child. So don't be hypercritical. Instead, use praise appropriately so that the child can grow. And develop positive expectation. That is, teachers and parents should develop the belief that students can do that. Trust in them, develop trust in them, provide the opportunity, provide the freedom, allow them to do that. And then when there are positive things, appreciate them. So that type of an attitude has to be developed among parents as well as in school. So when there is a positive approach, I think we can promote mental health among the youngsters. So the pandemic has created an awareness regarding the importance of mental health issues, but still the stigma attached to it has not gone. And I think we psychologists have to work extensively and intensively on these issues. And I'm glad that the World Congress of Psychologists has taken the effort and is moving in the right direction. And in the long run, whoever is getting trained during these through these programs, I think you will be able to make a contribution to better the lives of many of the youngsters in the future generation and the society at large. And I thank the opportunity given to me, and I wish you all the best. And I thank every one of you here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
We are definitely, our knowledge is enriched regarding mental health issues, especially you have clearly given us the realistic situation which we are experiencing now in our schools, especially regarding the problems that are faced by the parents as well as the teachers because of the behavioral changes we are observing in children during this post-pandemic period. You have given us the realistic situation, sir. Thank you very much. And the participants, if you can give your feedback, it would be very, very nice. So I request all the participants to kindly give your feedback.
Shall I, ma'am?
Yeah.
Oh, good evening to Dr. B.G. Reddy sir, Dr. Suresh sir, Professor S. Gayatri ma'am, Professor Selvam Robert sir, everyone. Thank you so much, Dr. Suresh sir, for explaining us mental disorders which children are facing in schools. This session is very informative. Your explanation is really great. Thank you, sir. Especially, I thank Dr. B.J. Reddy sir, always speaking up in meetings and providing a unique perspective. Thank you, Dr. Chinni Simon ma'am, for your wonderful introduction of the speakers. Thank you once again. Thank you.
May I, ma'am? Thank you very much, sir. It was a very enriching session, and I request Reddy sir to give us an opportunity of Suresh sir session once again, because it was very much connected to our school real everyday what we are facing. I could connect it easily with Suresh sir's session today, and I request one more session with sir, which actually helps all our teachers. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Durga Bhavani, we'll provide SAR lecture once again on one more topic.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, definitely we are going to fulfill the wishes, aspirations of the participants.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Anyone else? Yes, Dr. Chinni Simon, he proposed vote of thanks.
Okay, sir. So I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to all the patrons, chief patrons, and chairmen of the programs, the president of WCOP, the general secretary and treasurer and today's speaker, Professor V. Suresh, all the core committee members and executive committee members and the participants, for patiently listening. And then my heartfelt thanks to the chairperson of today's session, Professor S. Gayatri Devi, and guest of honor, Dr. Selvam Robertson. And especially, I'm very much thankful to Professor Suresh for enriching us with the knowledge regarding the mental health issues, wherein we are finding it, which we are facing it in the schools today. Thank you very much, sir. We expect more from you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you all very much.
And one more announcement to the participants. Just in advance, I am announcing how many of you are spreading this information, this 3 months training program on school counseling to your colleagues. If not, you have not just generalized or informed to other colleagues or friends. Just make a note. Kindly spread this information to your own friends through WhatsApp groups. And now we are in, I think we have completed 19th session. And another 6 sessions are there. Actually, 24 sessions, only 3 months of training means. But 25th is also, I am just adding for the interest of you only. And if meanwhile, say more or less 1 month period is there, or 25 days period is there, kindly spread this information, and any of your friends are interested, just collect that friend's name and so is interested, and keep that information in the WCOP WhatsApp group, so that we are going to continue one more just 3 months training program on school counseling. And similarly, we are also planning to have another 3 months training program that I am going to announce it coming session. So simultaneously, if school counseling and it is current need, school counseling is current need, and so many young people are suffering like anything. And so if the response comes from your friends, colleagues, so that if you keep their names, or they themselves can just keep their names, I am interested, I am going to have registered for this school counseling 3 months training program, that keep it that information in this WCOP WhatsApp group. That's my sincere appeal to all the participants. With this information, I thought of conveying to you. So once again, thanks to the participants. And some of the participants, they are coming, 3 to 4 participants, they are coming very lately. I am repeating. See, this program is purely organized for you only. If you are coming late, see, not all, 3 to 4 people. Kindly avoid just 3 to 4 people coming late and joining on their own whims and fancies. It looks somehow a little bit embarrassing for the organizers. Of course, for you, it may not be embarrassing, but for us, it is really an embarrassing situation. Don't create such an embarrassing situation for us. Don't repeat, kindly. Okay, once again, thank you very much. So, good night, everybody. And thanks to Dr. Cindy Simon for organizing everything. Right. Thanks, one and all. Good night.
Thank you very much.